Okay, if you're new to the vlog, I want to tell you in a very short version of what we're doing here. So basically what we're doing is we're growing our, what we think is a very, very unique business model. It's not very complicated. It's very easy. It can be used in a bunch of different ways. So I started out doing a bunch of real estate stuff. I got out of the military, didn't want to work for anybody ever again. And I started off and I did fairly decent in real estate. Eventually burned out, came back into the business as a real estate investor, which kind of sounds funny when I came back because I had nothing to do and bad credit and everything else because I just went through a really bad burnout. I couldn't do anymore. So as a solopreneur, became an entrepreneur, ran with real estate stuff for a long time. Then the market made a major correction, and that major correction basically took me out. I have my own set of rules that I run off of. I basically, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I do believe in the Bible, and I do believe that there is a God and so on and so forth. And I kind of operate our business stuff off of the Proverbs. Bible ultimately is the ultimate authority, but the Proverbs is kind of what I've learned to run my business off of. And there's a lot of very good information in there. The Proverbs are a good source of information and a good set of rules to live by, especially if you own a business. So, market crashes, I get in, I'm way in over my head. I have too many things going on all at the same time. I can't fund them all, so I'm done. There's nothing I could do. Okay, it's too much. I basically had 100 condos or houses being renovated or houses that I was building all at the same time. And I had money, but most of the money was always in play. It was in play on down payments. It was in play on rehabbing stuff. It was in play on buying stuff and paying cash for it, and so on and so forth. So you can't spend equity. So by the time that the market did what it did, I had no clue it was coming. I should pay more attention. I do pay attention now, I think. And I've also kind of set myself up to be bulletproof, I think. I don't know. If everything grinds to a screeching halt, I'm toast again. So there's nothing I could do about it. But now it's not just me. It's me and my son and my good friend Talon, who's been with us on most of this journey. So we started just doing things to just survive, to go back into the real estate business and waiting for the real estate business to recover and to do just some stuff with it, like wholesaling houses and stuff like that. So we did that for a while, and that brings us to where we're at now. So that's a short version, very short version. So basically what we did is we used junk removal, and working for the banks, getting stuff out of houses and buying stuff from storage units and getting stuff from yard sales and anything and everything we possibly could think of to get stuff to resell. We did a bunch of that. And it morphed into this business that we're in now. So what ended up happening is, and again, this is the abridged version, what ended up happening is we would go in and we do a clean out on a lot of places were being bought up after the crisis, and we go in and do a clean up, and they'd say, hey, come get this furniture, junk removal, come get this debris, junk removal. And then the first question out of their mouth, we started hearing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So we started to figure out it was a business. Again, not a sexy business, not as sexy as real estate, but a very cool business. And the coolest thing about this business is you can make money right this second. You're making money right now, which is cool because I didn't have a lot of money. It was very important to me to be able to control where my son was, and I didn't want to put him in the public schools here or anywhere else. So I basically put him in a Christian school, and I stayed involved with the school and helped the school start through a store and some stuff like that as a Christian store. Basically a Methodist church, and that's what we did for a long time. And I'm sitting there going, I'm working for a friend who works for Rich Dad Poor Dad. She thought she was losing her job. She makes $1 million a year. This is 20 years ago, not 20 years ago, 2010, whatever that is. Yeah, 14 years ago. So she has me learning this program that she bought from a guy, and it was pretty detailed, a lot of stuff, and then applying it into the social media and stuff like that. And I did that for a while, but to survive, because she could only pay me so much. She really wasn't sure she was going to lose her job, but she never did. And eventually she gave up on the idea. I gave up on the idea, and we both moved on. So while I was there, I was living in a very expensive house in a very expensive neighborhood that I used to own property in before the market crashed. And she had a 3-car garage and an empty house, gigantic empty house. So I started picking stuff up and bringing it back to the house. I'd drive down the street and somebody'd have a washer and dryer on the curb. And I deducted that if they had a washer and dryer on the curb, that one of them was broke and the other one wasn't. Well, $200 or $300 to me was a lot of money, or even $150 was a lot of money. So I'd bring them back, hook them up, see which one was broke, and throw them away. You'd be shocked at how many times neither were broke. They just didn't want to pay the $100 to Home Depot or whatever, or Lowe's, to haul them off. And they put them on the curb, and they knew the scrappers would come get them, save them $100. And they were right. So I learned all these little tricks. And then I started thinking, man, this is cool. I got this 3-car garage. It's empty. I have a hoopty truck, which, because all my cars got taken away from me, or I turned them in, whichever. And it was some of both. So for a long time there, I'm kind of hiding them because I didn't have any. I was toast. You know, big bills, small income. That's what happened. So I went from being the king to being the pheasant pretty quick. So my son experienced this from his standpoint. Rich kid. Then we lost everything. The true blessing in this whole thing for me was the fact that I got to spend more time with him, and we got to know each other really well. We work together now, and he would tell me that I was always gone. He never seen me. I would leave before he got up and get back after he went to bed. And I didn't see it from his standpoint. And so this was not a terrible thing for him. I mean, he obviously didn't want to wear, Goodwill clothes and all the other things that we were doing at the time to get by. But, well, we made it through it. And what happened is we started figuring out, oh, my God, they're emptying this whole house out onto the street. I would just go over and pick out the 50, 60 things that I knew I could resell. Didn't have to get rid of it. And then we started figuring out, hey, I started doing Google searches, and I started putting up junk removal ads. I started putting up free junk removal ads because to me the stuff was valuable. Picking it up was no big deal. So that's how this happened. So we're picking up stuff. We're getting ahead very quickly. I'm not paying rent because I'm living in this lady's house and trading off work and my efforts. Then eventually she said, okay, that's it, we're done. So I called up one of the guys I knew. He had 20 houses in foreclosure. He owned a bunch of rental property in Cape Coral. And I went over and I said, hey, you got this house over on such and such street. And he said, yeah. He says, you care if I live in it until they get done with the foreclosure? He said, if I care. So the grass was 3 foot tall. There's dog shit all over in it. Somebody had taken a hot water heater. It was a mess. So I went in, and there was a lot of houses like that. It was like you go down a street and like 50% or 60% of the houses on the streets in Cape Coral would be like that. So we cleaned it up. We lived in it. When the bank showed up, they said, hey, we'll give you $3,000 to move, because they would come into the house and see how much stuff was in there because we were selling stuff from the house. I might have 20 mattresses in the living room and 2 couches, and then in the bedroom have shelves and have them full of stuff for eBay. And then in the living room, or in the kitchen, and we didn't use the kitchen as a kitchen. We did use the sink, but and then the house was just jam-packed full. The 2-car garage would be full. And to them, they saw a gigantic mess that they were going to have to deal with. So they say, hey, we'll give you $3,000. Can you be out in 30 days? Send me a picture of the house empty, and then we'll come back and meet you, and we'll give you the check. I'm like, game on. What's your name? I give them. So that's what happened. And we did that 5 times. So I didn't pay any rent for like 3 years. So, the houses were sitting empty. Technically, I was squatting. I really wasn't squatting because I had permission from the owners to be there. And I knew the marketplace. I knew how it worked because I was a landlord for so many years, and I know how it works. So that worked out good for us. So what we did is we figured this out. So we get through doing the junk removals, and time after time after time, they'd say, hey, who do you know takes kitchens out? And see, I'm from Ohio. Okay, in Ohio, at least in my price range, the one I grew up in, Well, the contractor's going to take that stuff out, and they're going to take out, you know, if they're doing a bathroom, they're going to take the bathroom out. They're going to do that part of it. Now, in this marketplace, this is a very wealthy marketplace, and it's a different marketplace, and everything has to have licensing here. There was licensing in Ohio, but it wasn't like it is here. Okay, so every trade has their own license. So what happened is I figured this out. There's this huge amount of business in these condos and in these gated communities where they don't want to let just anybody in there. And in order to come through the gate and work there, you have to have your licenses, you have to have general liability, you have to have your workman's comp, and they got to verify all that stuff. So what happens is this creates a huge opportunity. So what we started doing is I'd say, well, I could take it out. And for a while, I could get away with it for a long time where I didn't have to show them all my paperwork and stuff like that. So then I did have a contractor's license. Got set up to start building houses in Florida, and then the market came unglued. So as a realtor, I had a lot of experience from up north. I used that experience to get my contractor's license down here. So that's how this all happened. Now, with or without the demolition part of this, the junk removal business makes pretty good money. Now, it doesn't make the kind of money you can make doing demo the way that we do it. Now, the way we do it is we come into a situation and we bring all the tools, we bring the truck, we bring a dump trailer. We make it so easy for them. When they're dealing with these condominiums, they don't want to deal with dumpsters. The dumpster companies leave the dumpsters in the dumb places. They put them in such a way where they scratch their nice pavers and stuff up, and they're always in the way. And there's only so many. You know, you got a high rise with 100 units in it, and they only got 2 acres down on the ground. So they got to be careful about every inch of it. So for us, we bring the dump trailer, load it as we go, take all the stuff, put it in the trailer that we're going to repurpose. We give the owners a price break because the stuff has value, and we do it quickly, we do it concisely, we do it completely, and it works. So now let's talk about what's been going on the last couple of days. So we're taking this concept and we're going to go into Sarasota in a couple months here, very quickly. So we do a lot of repurposing. Okay, so we get a lot of windows and doors and kitchens and baths and furniture and everything else you can possibly think of. We take a lot of times we come in and we take out completely everything. We take everything out of the cabinets. We take everything out of the closets. Everything is left over. So it just depends on how the sale went down, you know. So then we take out the kitchens, we take out the baths, we take out the flooring, we take out some of the walls, and we do it a lot. Okay, so what happens is I get all this crazy amount of stuff to resell. Okay, now, is it a lot of work? Yeah. Does the labor prevent it from being profitable? No, not for us at least. I don't know how it is for someone else, but for us it's not, because we watch what we're doing. So sometimes we're getting 10 trucks a day, you know. So basically that's it. We repurpose a lot. We put stuff on Facebook Marketplace, we put it on Craigslist, and we put it on eBay depending on what it is. And we sell a lot. Okay, close to $1 million a year out of our shop. It's raining outside, another rainy day in Florida. Okay, so part of what we do is we do a lot of scrap metal stuff. We just put out a video on scrap metal a couple days ago, and when we went to the scrap yard, we were getting a little bit of pushback, and we videotape a lot of the things that we do that are interesting for people, and we found that scrap metal is one of the things that people are very interested in, and we're at the scrap metal place doing that, and what we're doing is we're documenting them doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. I mean, they're taking in metal in a way that, according to everybody else on YouTube that scraps, they're cheapness. So we went back into them and we shopped prices all over our region. We found place that was paying a lot more. We used that and we got a better price. We went in, did our junk removal or our scrap metal, and I ended up I have a lot of guys there just because we want to do it quickly, because we don't want to be there for 4 hours doing scrap metal. So I take more guys than I really need because of the filming and stuff like that. And we do a pretty bang up job. It's pretty cool. It's kind of fun to do the whole process. It's one of our profit centers. We have multiple profit centers in what we do. We have flooring removal, junk removal, we have scrapping, we have repurposing, and then we have the demolition. So that's 5 different places that we're pulling money from. You're really smart in business to have multiple streams of income, because if the market takes a shit in one of them, guess what? You can have one of the other ones to fall back on. And that happens frequently for us. So a lot of times when the demo's down, the resale stuff's up. So we also have Airbnbs. So we buy properties that are beat up. We use the stuff we get from these renovations, undoing these renovations, these demos, and we put kitchens and baths and the furniture and all that stuff from these places, and we use them to furnish our Airbnbs. So we've been doing that for a long time. If you want to stay in one of our Airbnbs, you can find that on in our description. We're starting to get these texts from a guy that works at the scrapyard, and he's telling us stuff that we don't really want to know. Apparently they're paid, according to him, they're paid to cheat us. So he gets more money if he does things a certain way. He's upset with them because he's actually, as people are coming through, he's saying, look, dude, if you cut the ends off of this stuff, you can get more money for it. He said that they don't want them doing that. So he's doing that. He also helped us out a great deal, and we tried to tip him after this because we haven't got that much help from these guys like we do at some of the other scrap yards we've ended up scrapping at over the years. So this guy, he's texting us, and they're going to move him to a new place, put him on, kind of downgrade him and put him on the white goods pile, which is means you're outside all day long in the sun and, you know, with water and stuff like that. It's just a real downgrade from being the guy that takes in the scrap and evaluates what you get for it. It's kind of a slap in the face. I feel bad for him. For us, it's like, okay, a lot of people were talking about this number 3 copper, and you wouldn't believe the outrage. You wouldn't believe the outrage in the fact that there's bluing on this copper, and they're downgrading it from number 1 copper, which it should be, to number 2 copper, which means they're paying us significantly less money for it. The outrage is coming from the community. Us, it's a profit center. It's not free money because I got to spend a lot of money on labor to do it. We use this as kind of like fill-in work for us, and we've been getting so much of it because our demolition, our machine-driven demolition's gotten so busy because of the hurricane that hit here a couple years ago. So we're taking down one gigantic place after another, and with gigantic places comes gigantic amounts of scrap. So everything from copper to Romex wiring to condensers and compressors and radiators, all that stuff. It's a tremendous amount, just unbelievable amount of scrap. So, and we're having fun with it. We love this YouTube community thing. This is a blast. It's fun as hell. So now let's talk about something else. Angie and I just got back from Key West. We were down there for about 5 days, and all we did is get up and we would work till like 10 or so, go have breakfast, work for a couple more hours, go do something else, maybe ride our bikes or something like that, and come back and work some more. And we are just really grinding on these books that we're working on. I'm working on one on junk removal and how to do junk removal the way that we've been doing it, which is a little different than what everybody else has been doing it, and it's very profitable if you do it the way we do it. I'm not sure I don't know what other people's checkbooks look like. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. I want to show you what we're doing because it works and you might benefit from it. We're also doing another one on demolition, taking this from the junk removal business all the way through into the demolition business. And a lot of places are not going to be regulated like we are here in Florida, and a lot of people will be able to do this, and it's very profitable. It's a little niche thing, and if you know, it's just like anything, if you know the inside scoop on how to do stuff, it's easy. If you don't know the inside scoop, it might not be so easy. So it's just like anything. If you know how to do it, you could do it in 20 minutes. If you don't know how to do it, it might take you 3 years to figure it out, the most profitable way of doing it. So I don't know how to write a book. Okay, so I went back to Alex Hormozy, which I respect a lot. He's been able to take businesses from where we're at to where we want to go. We're a $10 million business right now. We're wanting to head towards the $100 million range as a stepping stone, maybe $1 billion thing if we take this concept all over the States. So we're going to move into our next marketplace here shortly, and we're doing it, we're scaling in a very controlled way. We tried doing it a couple times and we kept getting sucked back into our own marketplace because we kept getting busier and busier here. So now we're going to go back up to Sarasota with intention. It's about 100 miles north of us here. Also, my favorite scrapyard's up there. Those guys actually like us. I don't think these guys don't like us. They're just not used to sophisticated people doing scrap metal. So we're writing that book. Writing a book's a lot of work. Alex has 1,000 hours into his book, the book he wrote. Now what Alex is doing is different than what I'm doing. What I'm doing is very simple compared to what Alex is doing. So, but I'm looking to him and I'm saying, how did you write your book, basically? And he puts everything he does online, and I looked at that, and then he talked about Stephen King having a book out on how to write. And then Stephen King talks about having about a book that he refers to that's like a core book, a basic book, kind of like How to Win Friends and Influence People is a basic book for business guys if you want to be a good businessman. So I've gone through all that, used the drive down there to go through it. The other book teaches you about grammar. My grammar sucks. The English class was first bell and wasn't really important to me. So that's why I speak the way I speak and I do what I do. But you know, it's really cool. They say, hey, everybody needs about a 3rd grade reading level so you can reach everybody. So I'm good there. You know, I'm probably maybe at 8th or 9th grade reading level, and I read a lot. I love to learn. It's very interesting. I'm really good at learning something and turning around and applying it. That's our video log for today, our vlog. It's Remove It Pros Demolition is our main channel, and I'll see you on the next video.